Shock therapy.
Are you sensing that one day fitness will evolve around therapy or what?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's already devices that people like strap up to their nipples to like create that. So I think like the theory is that like you create enough electrical charge, and from one gate, it's almost like the Suez Canal, where like the water fills up and then like one gate shuts and it fills up and then another gate shuts. Well, it's like the electricity builds, and then it like spills over into the next gate, and that like speeds up your recovery and like your gains.
The gains.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
get double gains.
So instead of just a single type of gains. By the way, funny. I have two things to say before we start getting into it. Obviously, as people know by now, like we don't start right away. So if you're listening, just skip to like 5 or 10 minutes in. But my dad asked me, because shout out to my pops for being like always watching the podcast. Shout out to Phil. But he goes, "Hey buddy, where do you do your podcast at?" Because he did because I did like the room one a couple of times He goes, was that in the, because he's been to like where I'm living at now, obviously, but like he goes, do you go back to the office or something? I'm like, no.
He's racking his brain. He's like, I have not seen that setup anywhere. Like,
does
what
Antoine
is
rent a space
somewhere? Exactly. Yeah. Are you renting somewhere?
And then I just wanted to do something so like people realize that like I'm definitely not any. I just like to blur the background because yeah, I don't think the setup behind me is something that you want to see. I used to blur the whole background and just put me on there. But the second thing I wanted to say real quick, give me 1 second, real quick. I just got to show you something.
Antoine's actually in Dexter's laboratory, folks.
All right, that's better.
Hey, there we go. Lakers, hey, baby.
Just so you guys know, Roman is from the Mass area, and his team's going to get destroyed with championships by next year, and they're going to not be the leaders in NBA championships anymore. Since we're tied up.
There's a video I watched of like this Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because like Pittsburgh Steelers had like the record for Super Bowls until like the Patriots came in, and like they were watching the end of the Patriots game against who do we beat last? I don't even remember. There's been so many.
Not the Eagles.
The Rams, not the Eagles. We lost to the Eagles. The second time we lost to the Eagles. But when we beat the Rams, they took like some sort of trophy and they just like threw it at their TV and just smashed it at their TV. But that's probably gonna be me when the Lakers win it next year against the Celtics. No, just kidding. The Celtics are Celtics are gonna take it all the way, baby.
I'm not calling this now just to make you upset, but you got to watch out for the Brooklyn Nets next year for the East because.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
All right.
Roman's not as much of a basketball fan as he used to be, guys. So he might not know who Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving is that much.
I know who they are. Yeah, Kyrie Irving was on the Celtics until recently.
Yes. I'm glad you knew that because I was like, if he doesn't know if he was on the Celtics or not, that'd be pretty bad.
Dude, I don't know the team. Like Marcus Smart, I was like, man, who is this guy? He's freaking balling out. Like all these different players. It's so different, man. It's so the league is so different. Like I still know so many like people, but like there's also so many people that like I don't recognize.
Dude, did you? You might not even know this. League. You might not even know this, but do you know who the Brooklyn Nets head coach is now?
Nope.
Dude, the one and only Steve Nash.
No way.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So you know that name. I'm glad you know a legend.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
But yeah, Steve Nash is their coach, and actually Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving was like the reason why he got chose because like there was like a couple obviously people that interviewed and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, dude, Dirk Nowitzki was supposed to be an assistant coach, but he turned it down.
Oh, snap. That would have been dope.
Well, because he I think he said it was like kind of general, but he said it's because they're not the Dallas Mavericks. And I think it's only if the Dallas Mavericks asked him to like coach or help out with coaching, then he would go back to basketball.
Yeah, interesting.
It's just dedication, man. None of the it's our loyalty to the team, because no one has loyalty to a team anymore. And
you think so?
I mean, it depends. It depends on who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I still think Tom Brady he gave his whole heart to the New England Patriots because, and I think people like you understand that. But like, you know, I mean, yeah, LeBron's a Lakers player, but this is his third team he's won a championship with, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
Kobe didn't even leave the Lakers at all. Dirk didn't.
Yeah. See, I don't know if I'd put it on the player though, man, because like the Cavs, weren't they giving him shit? So wasn't he like, all right, like, peace, like, if you guys don't want to like respect like the talent and what I brought to like this team in this city, like, bye. So he went to the Heat, and like, I don't think it was as bad, like the level of like disrespect. And I don't know LeBron's like story like all that well, just like the little rumblings I hear.
Yeah.
From my understanding, like, if the Heat's organization, if they like treated him with like a high degree of like respect, like in all means, like, that means when you go to renew a contract, you look at the player for their market value. It's LeBron James, arguably one of the greatest, if not like the greatest, like, NBA player like of all time. Like, obviously, like, people can have that like argument. It's gonna go on like for as long as like people can argue. Then you offer him like that big contract, but for whatever reason, like, my understanding is like the Heat like wasn't willing to do it. They were like had disrespected him in like one way, shape, form, or another. So Los Angeles showed him some love. So he's like, all right, cool. I'm moving again. So like similar to Brady. Brady was pretty fed up with 1-year contract extensions. He's like, I know.
Didn't he take a pay cut too?
That was years ago, but yeah, that's my understanding. I think they like buried in like incentives. Like, he's a smart guy. He's not gonna just like. I mean, like, I don't know. It could have been altruistic. Like, I don't want to say like what his motives were, but like he's a smart guy. He knows like how to make his money.
I mean, endorsements and everything.
Yeah. But I truly think he felt like disrespected, and then like Bill Belichick's thing is like, sorry, you're a piece of the puzzle, but like, if you're not willing to fit into like what the organization can offer, then like, I'll just fill it with another puzzle piece. So that's why like I'm so down with Cam Newton right now, because he's like all about the Patriot way. But like, if Cam started like mouthing off kind of like Antonio Brown did, like, I was so excited when Antonio Brown came, and like I didn't like the things that he was doing like socially. I was like, man, like, you need to straighten up, like, freaking clear out your plate, like, you know, like, if you need to apologize, like, if you need to go to court, like, go to court, whatever you need to do. But like, when he started doing the same shit when he was on the Patriots and he left, I was like, bye, see ya. Like, we don't need that.
I mean, he's not playing anymore anyway. So.
Yeah.
Or is he?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. I think he's got like too much like legal shit going on, to be honest with you.
Probably with the NFL too.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like there's definitely players that you can point to that it's like you can almost say like, oh, like no allegiance or something like that. But I don't know, like Drew Brees, for example. I think he started with like San Diego Chargers, and man, he's been with like freaking New Orleans Saints like forever. Patrick Mahomes is probably going to play many of his hopefully long years with the Chiefs. Kansas City
don't give Blake that excitement if he ever listens to this.
Dude, they freaking, how big was the contract? I mean, like, they,
was it 7 years too?
Yeah, they ponied up. They're like, we want you for the long haul. So that's, I don't know. In my opinion, that's like, that is an organization saying like, we respect you and we want to keep you around, and like, this is how we're going to do it. Well, we're showing you with the money.
Yeah. Also too, guys, I mean, since basketball's over with, we're going to probably bring up football a little bit. Just so you know, Vikings out with like a bunch of good players. They lost, but they blew it. And statistics showed they should have went on 4th and 1 no matter what instead of going for a field goal. But we lost by 1 to the best team in the NFC and was out our best player and the best running back in the league right now. So,
yeah.
So I don't, as much as the record doesn't show it, I'm still proud to be a purple and gold fan.
Man, my heart goes out to you, buddy, because frickin' the Seahawks are beasts. The Seahawks are absolute beasts. They're definitely going to be top contenders in the NFC this year. The Vikings held on, but man, 1-4 is hard to come back from. That is hard to come back from.
And that's fine.
In the NFC North.
And that's fine, man. I mean, like the Lakers, they didn't make the playoffs and they didn't win the championship for 10 years. So it's when you're a sports fan, you just understand it could be 10 years, it could be 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it. I'll watch the games, but obviously I know if they could get a wild card game, but
absolutely they could get first place. It's not out of the question. Yeah. But man, they have to win out. They have to go 12-4.
And I think Cook's out this week too, so he's not going to be one of the top backs because he got injured during that Seahawks game. So
yeah, I didn't even know about Diggs, man, until maybe a couple weeks ago when I heard him.
Oh, you didn't?
Reference to the Bills. I had no idea. I knew he's wanted out for a couple of years. He's a perfect example. He just wasn't feeling the love from the Vikings organization. It happened.
I think sometimes he just wanted to be a number culture, one too.
Yeah. You think the clash with Thielen?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think they liked each other, no doubt. They look like they had a brotherhood. It's just, I think sometimes people just want to be a number one. They want to be like I was going to say Randy Moss, but Randy Moss didn't become a number one until Chris Carter retired. So it's
yeah, Chris Carter, that's a good example. Man, they're an amazing 1-2 combo.
But see, the thing is though, I don't think he wanted that, and I don't know. I mean, I still think Diggs is an awesome player, and did you see that touchdown he got taken back because he showboated too much?
No, what the heck?
Yeah. So look it up. It was one of the first games or first couple weeks of the season. He caught it, showboated it, and the guy I think just smacked it right out of his hand by the 5-yard line.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, maybe I did.
Yeah, or he got tackled. It was either a fumble or a tackle.
When somebody came back and they punched it out of his hand. I might be thinking a different game. I think that was a Patriots game I was thinking. I'll check it out.
But Roman, what are we talking about today, buddy?
We're talking about something that I know nothing about. I'll be very transparent about that. But we're going to be talking about competition prep for both powerlifting, bodybuilding. We're going to talk to you a little bit about what we would recommend and what we hear, what we see competitors doing.
Yeah, and honestly, I think we might just talk about powerlifting because we probably have about 17 minutes anyways. So I don't think we're gonna. We want to talk about bodybuilding eventually. See, thing is though, I don't want to be selfish and take the whole show and talk the whole time because Roman hasn't competed in bodybuilding. But I feel enough to talk about it. But I don't know if we want to do a whole episode on it, but we might just do maybe I could just talk about it as a mini series and do something on the side. But powerlifting competitions, Roman. When are you doing yours, buddy? We're supposed to do one this year.
I don't know. We gotta figure it out.
That's it?
Figure it out. Yep. I was thinking about it recently. I was I was kind of sad. We'll probably go the year without doing it. That I know that was a goal that I had, but I was COVID, man.
Well, and plus, I got hurt like twice this year.
I know.
So and I feel like I'm pretty much recovered. I'm just taking it slow, but I think it's because I was doing Penley rows off the floor. I think because ever since I've started squatting and deadlifting again with just 135 and the bar, I didn't feel it as much and I didn't aggravate it after the fact. So I think I'm good now. In December, no hints or tricks there. Roman knows. In December, I'll probably be going back to a gym and being able to actually deadlift and squat again. So If you haven't checked it out, Roman's been back in the gym now. He's hitting some bigger weights again. He's back on the road. So if you guys haven't followed him on Instagram, follow him. I probably should post a little bit more training, but like I said, once I'm back in December into an actual gym and I'm actually deadlifting and squatting, that's why I held off on buying stuff, because Roman,
Yeah, no, and like honestly, I still want to do it. Maybe 2021 it will be the year. We'll see. I'm not making any plans. Well, I'm making some plans, but for that, I'm not like committing to anything right now. I'm actually having like a lot of fun just doing like bodybuilding training. My lifts are still like way down, but like I'm respecting the process because I'm technically 18 pounds under like my high body weight. So I'm just like, dude, if I like have a few reps shy of like what my rep PR was for like 185 pounds on bench, like so be it. That's kind of life. Like if you lose 18 pounds and you go like a certain period of time like without being able to touch like heavy weight, and then I've kind of traveled a little bit like back home and then back to Chicago, and like I still was like lifting. I've still been like active this whole year. There was a period of time where I was like sick for about a week, so I deliberately didn't do anything like too difficult during that time, like lifting or anything like that, so I could allow my body to recover. But yeah, I'm loving doing like bodybuilding training, but I'm also excited to get back into like powerlifting. Like right now, I don't really see any reason for me to deadlift because I think it would just like increase fatigue on like other movement patterns. So this I think is actually applicable to like the actual topic on hand, because this is probably geared towards like off season for powerlifters, and then we can kind of build from there. That's like a natural progression, so I like that. I'm still doing some sort of deadlifting pattern, but it's like much lighter. So I'm doing like a straight leg deadlift from the floor. Sometimes I'll switch in like an RDL, but that's what like I'm going with, and that's what I'll probably go with for at least like the next like few mesocycles. And I'm doing that for like my primary hinge hamstring movement, so I can get like some good stimulus to the hamstrings, and that absolutely fries me. I have like
you think that fries you? On a side note, I'm gonna keep this short, but because you're in the middle of something, YouTube Dan Green stiff leg deadlift.
Oh man, he's absolutely ridiculous.
He could stiff leg deadlift probably what your PR is and more.
And way more, man. Like,
he's absolutely.
I think I've seen him do like 6 something on it. Like, he is absolutely ridiculous for reps. Like, oh my God, Dan Green is freaking OG powerlifting, man. He's an absolute tank.
He's got genetics like you've never seen it.
Yeah, but he's battled with injuries, is my understanding. Yeah. Like quite bad. Like that has like kept him out for like years. I think like a couple of years. But he's always like been able to build himself back up. And he just like loves the sport so much. He always comes back with like a certain degree of vigor, which I really respect. I really respect people that like come back to something when like they kind of like fall from like the top type situation. Yeah, so I am not deadlifting per se, but I'm doing single leg deadlifts for a hamstring movement, but also so I can still practice that hip hinge pattern. So I don't know, maybe every other week, I might throw in some like heavy deadlifts, but I just like don't see the reason to right now. Still benching. It's like pretty close to a competition bench. I find that like increasingly more so I go more towards like a pause on my chest, but like it is, I would still say it's touch and go. So it's not like hyper specific, but it is definitely focused on trying to like grow my chest, stimulate like the triceps, the anterior delt. I set up the same mostly, unless like the back's kind of acting up, then I'll do like a plank variation, just crank out reps. so that I can get a good like a chest pump, but still practice the bench movement as opposed to like a machine fly or anything like that. And then squats. I've actually been working on like a pause squat recently. So I keep in like squat bench deadlift. Like I don't see a time where I'll like have one of those like completely removed. Deadlift has been the one to go most recently, just because of like the fatigue it puts on me. But for off season, I think it's still like very imperative for powerlifters to practice those movements. You can absolutely switch it up if you want to work on like, let's say, growing your chest so that you have a stronger bench. Like absolutely do that. But I wouldn't necessarily say move to like a chest press, like one of those like machine chest presses to substitute the bench. I would say like
or also it might be easier for like a deadlift, just switch to sumo instead of conventional.
Exactly. Or do like a trap bar. Like if for whatever reason like conventional, like man, I was thinking, I was like, you're talking about pen lay rows and you'd mentioned that before, and I was watching a video of me doing straight leg deadlifts, and I was like, I think I can actually stay tighter in the bottom position because like my eccentric is ridiculously slow. It's like 4 to 6 seconds. Like it is redonkulously slow. It's like so stimulative to like my hamstrings. Like I feel it the whole way down. But when I begin it, I seem to like allow some shear in the low back. So just a little bit of this. So it's essentially like shear force is coming down. If your spine's like this, it's the spine wanting to move, or not wanting to move, but moving in this direction. So this is actually flexion, and shear is going to be the disc, not the discs, the spine itself moving in this direction. I don't know if that's easy to see, but that's shear forces. So I can see some of that. So I'm wondering, film yourself the next time you do a row and send it to me.
I'm not doing any pen lay rows for a while, buddy.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Good, yeah. I would stay away from it because,
as I say, I think my back growth is pretty nice, anyways, and I'd rather just do like a rack pull off the rack I have, and then do rows from there.
Yeah.
And then try to get it as forward as possible, and keeping my back straight, and being able to hold it as well, that position.
I was doing standing rows or barbell rows when I was home in August. Man, like I hadn't done them in a long time, but it's like pretty dang stimulative to the back. Like it's pretty insane. Like I do like pen lay rows for like the control, because I do think it's like very easy to get into this like herky jerky motion. But man, freaking a standard barbell row, I think it's trashed on way too much. Like for a conventional bodybuilding movement, like it's pretty dope.
I like it. Also too, though, like I still get a pretty good amount of back stimulus with like the machines we have.
Yeah.
Like I have that machine, which is like it's really nice, and I'm able to switch out like the handlebars and stuff. So like I just threw it in there because I was a big, I'm still like decently like keep up with him, but like Colin Von Moger used to do them all the time, and like Arnold, like I just like when you watch like Pumping Iron, you see him doing like that, or like the T-bar row. Like I just like love that movement, and and then plus it's, and also because it was during the time where I just got the barbell, so I'm like, dude, I want to do everything barbell. I did barbell curls, barbell rows, barbell press, barbell bench press, deadlift, and then like I don't do any more barbell curls because I forgot how much it hurts like my forearms. Like, and I'm not talking about muscles. I'm talking about like just gripping it, because like I feel like I tend to over grip it in like a supinated grip. And then I'm doing dumbbell curls again because I get more control out of it. Like you just realize after a while, you're like, yeah, I used to love the movement, but like if I want to push myself, I end up like I feel like it hurts in a negative way, and I don't do it ever again. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just like barbell curls. I was doing them too, but it's just like I said, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just I don't know. I put like too much pressure on my hands and whatnot, and it just hurts like my hand and my forearm. And I need my grip strength for like deadlifts, like everything else, like shoulder press, like all that good stuff. So
it's like the external rotation too. That's why I've switched when I'm doing like we've gone way off track, so sorry about that, folks. But this is
we might have to do part two. We might have to do part two.
I'll still like throw in barbell curls every once in a while, but I mainly stick to like an easy bar curl just based off of the position I can get my hands in. It's much more comfortable, and I think like more anatomically like designed for me. With barbell curls, it puts a lot of like external rotation force on the elbow joint.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to get to. Yeah, that.
It causes a lot of discomfort for people.
Why aren't you using an ergonomic mouse then still? Look how ergonomic I look. Look, I just click it away.
The direction of travel of my mouse, folks.
Yeah, I don't even get pains in my right arm anymore because my mouse game is crazy.
I'm wondering if like the whole field of like ergonomics is going to kind of get like a backlash from like the scientific community like pretty soon. I think it already is, just based off of like how unnecessary it is. Like if you want it for comfort, like it's hard to argue like
it's gonna work better or not.
If something isn't comfortable to somebody, like one person might find a bed of nails to be comfortable. Like to each their own, man, in that case. But like when we talk about like maintaining anatomical position or preventing like back aches and stuff like that, I think that there like may be some applications, but the applications are most likely limited, because let's say we're relying on an individual that is like mostly sedentary, they'd probably benefit from getting into like a powerlifting like regimen and just like picking things up, putting them down, because the muscles are going to atrophy over time, especially if you aren't providing a sufficient enough stimulus for them to like maintain a certain size. And if they start atrophying, it makes you much more likely to get injured.
Yeah, and the whole point of that too is like back to your like first statement of that. It's like if they're comfortable and they're still like progressing, like you can even bring that into like the working out place in the space we're in, and that might reduce injury. If this person's not going to compete in bodybuilding, but wants to do like hack squats instead of barbell squats because they don't really want to be able to get the form right. They don't want to put a bar on their back. They don't want to do all that, whatever the case may be. In hack squats, they get in a better position and they're more comfortable. Then, hey, maybe that's the way, Roman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'd say like if we like bring it back to powerlifting, like powerlifting is not going to be for everyone because it puts such like extreme demands on people. But like if you're like interested, I'd say that like it can provide like a wide array of benefits for people. Like expression of absolute strength is something that should not be taken advantage, shouldn't be like disregarded, because we do it every day, whether we like believe it or not. But like let's say we're walking to work when we're not like in a global pandemic, and we look down, we see like a giant puddle in front of us. We might just naturally leap over the puddle, and that's an expression of absolute strength. That type of explosive movement requires your muscles to be like primed in a certain way, and if they aren't, then that's when people can like quote unquote pull a muscle, sprain a muscle, like tear a ligament, something along those lines. I was talking to a guy a couple of years ago, and he was doing some like rehab exercises, so I was like asking him about that, and he was like, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but this happened to me like when I was taking off my jacket. Like it actually happened way before that, most likely, meaning that like the years of like atrophy to his shoulder. But his shoulder was so atrophied, and he was like a middle-aged man. He wasn't like old, maybe like in his 40s or 50s, but his shoulder was so atrophied, or the muscles around his shoulder were so atrophied, or so essentially like ripe or primed to get injured. I don't know the guy worth like a stick on the ground, but this is like just what he was telling me, that just taking off his jacket caused him to like strain or sprain his shoulder joint. So that's why like being active and like resistance exercise training is so essential, with proper nutrition and all that stuff.
Heck yeah, Roman. I love it. Well, guys, it's been fun. It's been real, but it hasn't been really fun. We kind of got to the subject of matter. We promise maybe next time we will stay course, but we do appreciate it as always. Definitely follow us, like us, comment, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Amazon Music, Audible, Stitcher, Spotify, and the Apple Podcast app, the podcast app, whatever you use. And I know I said that twice, but I meant like the Apple Podcast app or the podcast app that, that's on the Play Store and the Apple Market. But thank you guys for tuning in as always. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. If you have any questions, definitely DM us, message us on YouTube, whatever the case may be. We love to hear the feedback, as well as we'll see you guys in that next one. Peace.